Ladies and gentlemen, back for our fourth season. We have for you, before toe hits leather, before anything happens, we have the NAIAFBALL live show. Welcome in, guys. We are ready for another great season presented by our folks at AdCraft, custom apparel and merch, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Absolutely the finest folks in the game. It doesn't matter whether it's uniforms, whether it's T-shirts, whether it's web stores. Those guys have got it down pat. They always outfit us good, and they can outfit your team good as well. John, we only have mere days until football begins.
Yeah, so as most of you guys know, we are in the single digits. We are this week, Thursday night. The NAIA is kicking off college football in general for the second straight season. And instead of just one game like last year, we have 5 games, I believe, on a Thursday night, which is insane. And even 2, at least one, I know, top 25 matchup where both teams are top 25.
Yeah.
On Thursday night.
On
which
a
is
Thursday night.
Absolutely huge. Also, Corey, I'm going to end our live stream on Twitter. And you guys go join us on our YouTube channel, NAIFBall. And we'll see you guys there. We got a green screen. Everything's nice. It's way better than what you're seeing on Twitter. Go join us on YouTube. We're going to talk about a ton of teams tonight, so go join us.
Absolutely. And we're ready because we know where I'm at least headed in December. You had the bad sense to go and have a child around that time.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So you
life doesn't stop.
Life doesn't stop, but we know where we're headed this year, and that is to see those trophies, to see that red banner. And I'm sorry, Grandview fans, because that's a little bit of a heartbreaker, I think, probably still several months later. But man, Durham was a marvelous place. Got it on the green screen behind me. John, let's jump right into it. Tonight is a night of prognostications galore, and we know that y'all are going to hold us to this, even if we don't hold us to this. So let's get to the picking, and let's start, in the order we did the podcast. Alphabetical order seems halfway decent. Starting off in the AAC, if y'all haven't been up to date on all the news that's been going on, the AAC and the Sun split from the Mid-South, and they are no longer divisions but conferences. And so we begin with the AAC, and my pick here is Reinhardt. Reinhardt bringing back a lot. Only thing you really need to replace is that signal collar.
Corey, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and thinking for a different result.
I would say Reinhardt is one of the different teams that we are insane for because I know we both picked them here. There's only one challenger in this division, I believe, for Reinhardt, and they play them this Thursday night.
Faulkner's in the...
All right, Mid-South. Sorry. Yeah,
Mid-South.
Man, I am getting crazy, and I'm a Faulkner alum. But I'm still thinking of that. So take Faulkner out.
Bluefield.
I mean, who else is in there? Kentucky Christian, Union. I mean, these teams haven't came close to Reinhardt yet, and this split has really messed me up mentally.
I know, right?
I don't think there's anybody that's going to challenge Reinhardt, who has won their division for so many consecutive seasons now.
Yeah, it's going to be super, super hard. Going out to the Pacific Northwest and the Frontier, I'm going with the Bulldogs to repeat Ryan Nars's team there. You bring back your quarterback. You bring back most of your team. I think this is a pretty easy pick.
Absolutely. I think that, it is an easy pick, but the Frontier is just so out of whack sometimes. I think it's one of the most balanced conferences where the best team could lose to the worst team at any point, especially with the round-robin schedule they have over there. One of the perks to having lesser teams in your conference, you see some teams multiple times.
And we'll talk about that a little later because the biggest challenge, I think, for Montana Western, I think they're going to clear this first season, or this first game is going to either make or break what they are on the season. So we'll see. Going to the GPAC, Why pick against them? It's Morningside here.
Well, it's funny. The GPAC has had how many national championship appearances? And at least 4, right?
Yeah, like every
At least.
time we haven't been to a national championship where
And
a
the
GPAC
GPAC's not
team has
there.
not been there.
And what's insane is the one time Northwestern made it to the national championship game, they weren't even GPAC champions.
That's
there.
right.
They got their revenge on Morningside in the playoffs. It's safe to say that, I'm going with Morningside as well. I mean, it's similar boat as Reinhardt, but even more,
Yeah.
strengthening there. I think Morningside has a decade now of winning GPACs.
That sounds about right.
I think it's at 12.
Going a little bit further to the middle of America, Hart North, no one's picking against Grandview this year.
No, the Hart North is a little bit different than the Hart South.
Yeah.
The Grandview front seven has been absolutely dominant since the Joe Woodley era. The junior has taken over, if that makes sense. It's hard to pick against those guys. I can't remember the last time Grandview's lost a regular season game. It's been at least 3 seasons.
Oh, it's been a minute, hadn't it?
Yeah.
So as we move over to the Hart South, I think this is where we're going to have our first difference here. As we've been pretty similar this entire time. I'm gonna go with a little bit of an upset alert here. I hate to call it an upset alert because this team was in the national championship not that long ago. That's the Benedictine Ravens. I think with Baker losing generational talents at both quarterback and running back, those are big shoes to fill. I think you can lose one or the other and be fine if you're Baker, but I don't know that you can lose both and not have Benedictine passing.
Baker lost NFL talent, but I'm still picking him. I just think they have a really good thing going over there.
They do.
The program is now number 1, tied with Moval as the all-time winning leader in NAIA football, and I think they're going to surpass that by a good margin this year.
Well, here's the thing: does Moval play week 0?
I do not think so.
Which means,
but we'll have to check. Which means Baker has a opportunity to, hold that spot for their own, and that's a huge story. Not many people are looking at.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing there. They play Peru State, so
which I don't think they're going to win that game, regardless.
Right. So we will get to see it in live and in color. The Moval people won't have an opportunity to say, well, you just played when we didn't. So moving to the KCAC, we're going to have another difference of opinion here. I'm saying Southwestern, with all of the just constancy that they've had. I think that wins here, and they take the KCAC for the second straight year.
Absolutely. I think the defense at Southwestern has been absolutely outstanding. I know the statistics and the value we use with the net yardage maybe told something different, but I think they have an outstanding defense. But go ahead and select mine up there. I'm going with Kansas Wesleyan.
Whoops, I forgot to fill in your stuff.
That's okay.
Whoops.
I'm going with the Coyotes out of Kansas Wesleyan. I think they're going to be absolutely explosive on offense. In the past couple of years at the KCAC, I would say offense has reigned supreme, Corey. Don't you think so?
It has. So we'll have to see what the builders and the Yotes can.
But I do
put
think
together.
that is 1 and 2, regardless.
Absolutely. So now we go to the other half here, and we go to the granddaddy of the Southern Conferences, the Mid-South. And at this point, I can't pick against Lindsay until they show me that something different is happening.
They've gone 2,200 plus days without losing a in-state conference game or in-state game overall, which most of the Mid-South right now is in the state of Kentucky. A few in Tennessee and one in Alabama.
Except that you
didn't
pick them.
I did not pick them. I was getting to it. I really like what I see out of Bethel. I think they are absolutely talented, and they're huge size. I think it's going to be the year they really get going. when we first started covering this about 4 years ago, they had an undefeated regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I see them getting back to that. They showed flashes last year. Showed flashes last year. They went 7-4, but Corey, I don't know if you remember, they were in the top 15 late in the year.
They were.
And they had an upset loss,
Mm-hmm.
big upset loss. I don't think that happens this year. I think that program's matured a little bit.
Talk about a program that has matured. I think even since we saw them in the national championship game, that's Marion. I think in the last couple years they have gelled as a program.
Yeah.
And I think they've got the folks on the bus that they want on the bus. I'm very high on Marion this year, not just in the Mideast.
It was tough picking them between them and Indiana Wesleyan. But
That is
true.
true.
I went with Marion as well. I love what I see out of Marion when they can control games and get a double tight end set and just basically suffocate defenses and not give the ball back when they want to.
And they bring back like 7 out of their 8 top offensive linemen.
Which is absolutely huge for NAIA football.
Absolutely. They're going to control that line of scrimmage, and I don't know that there's going to be another team that's with Indiana Wesleyan losing Devontae Alford. That was a huge weapon both in the passing game and the rushing game. Marion can just control the clock and just sit on you like an elephant.
Right.
Going to the other side of that division, we do keep the same idea there going with St. Francis for both of us.
I know we talked about Bethel being huge, but St. Francis, Illinois, their offensive line is massive.
Yeah.
They are massive, and they can move people. I think the Midwest is behind the Mideast right now, but I think they're slowly catching up with them and Olivet Nazarene and Roosevelt.
The parity in the Midwest is approaching that of the Mideast.
I agree. I think it's slowly creeping.
Yep, and that's
it's not there yet.
To me,
slowly creeping.
The Midwest is the division to watch.
Absolutely.
This year, you're going to get, I think, the most exciting games out of that division. So then we go back to the Northwest, and I just don't know how you can't pick Dickinson State.
Sometimes it's not the names that get you through; it's the culture that gets you through.
Mm-hmm.
And similar to Morningside, Reinhardt, we talked about it, which I know Dickinson State hasn't had that success on the national level, but they've had a stranglehold on the North Star. And we'll see if Waldorf or Valley City can rise up. I think those are the top 2 contenders after that. But it's hard to pick with what's been successful, and culture is a huge thing in the NAI, where names change, but culture stays the same.
Absolutely, and the folks over there have done a great job. Now, for the last 2 picks are going to be fun. First in the Sooner, Arizona Christian and Ottawa of Arizona lose an awful lot of talent.
Absolutely, especially at the quarterback position.
And Keaton Dudick is still back.
Yeah,
for Segu.
He put up a ton of ground yards.
The man is incredible. The defense was good last year for Segu. And you bring in an NFL All-Pro to coach them.
Well, first-year head coach, though.
Nuh-uh. He was at Texas College.
Well, I mean, his first-year head coach for Segu.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fine. So I put it this way. You remember those years where Alabama was trotting Greg McElroy out there at quarterback?
Yeah.
Now, roll tide and all that, but Greg McElroy's best attribute as a quarterback was his ability to not fumble the handoff.
Right.
If you can find a Greg McElroy for Segu, you're going to be fine.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going with Ottawa, Arizona. I think I love the passing concepts. I know they've lost a lot, but they have the veteran head coach in that conference. Yeah. And sometimes when you got the veteran head coach, it's hard to go against.
It's going to be hard to replace Austin McCullough. That man was legit a good quarterback, even when you're talking about outside the NAIA kind of realm. And then we end up with the Sun, and I think St. Thomas is going to be close and inching closer and growing as a program, but I still think Kaiser wins this. Look, when we were doing this 4 years ago,
yeah,
and it was Southeastern Ave Maria, and we saw Kaiser coming up in the rearview mirror. They take it the next year they lose to Lindsey Wilson, if I remember correctly.
Right.
But what Kaiser is now, or what Kaiser was then, is what St. Thomas is now. And they need a couple of years, I think. I think they might get into the playoffs next year, St. Thomas, maybe this year. And it'll be their first taste of it where they're going to get a little overwhelmed. This year, I think it's Kaiser's to lose.
With Southeastern promoting their defensive coordinator to head coach, I think that slows them down a little bit more. Kaiser's definitely the retention with Coach Socha over there. I will say big things are happening in the Sun. You got Warner University that has their own stadium that's going to be ready this year. Can't wait. Hopefully you get down there if my personal life slows down. And then Weber International. Corey, I don't know if you know, they were winless for they won one game last year, but they're winless till the Faulkner Eagles came to town, who was on a very hot. Who Faulkner has tied their best season last year in his school history as far as win percentage.
Right.
And Weber got up and beat them. So I'm looking to see. I think the Sun Conference is going to improve a lot. I don't think it's going to get 2 bids. But I think Kaiser wins it, but I think the parity is going to get a little better there.
It is, and I actually got my my spot booked today, so I am now, Lord willing, the creek don't rise, will be in Valdosta, Georgia on September 1st for
awesome.
the Valdosta State Kaiser game. So we will see that. Well, I will see that in living color and get to see. I mean, Valdosta State is a good. Really good D2 squad.
Yeah.
How Kaiser plays them at home in Valdosta will, if Kaiser stays with Valdosta State, that's going to really.
I think the Kaiser tempo might give Valdosta State a little trouble.
We'll see. I mean, how fast does West Florida run?
I don't think they have that big of a tempo.
Okay. I was about to say, I know they beat them a couple years ago. Didn't know how fast they played. So those are our conference predictions. You'll see them later as we look at them in total, and we will go out on limbs and go see if we can pick the playoffs. But before we get to that, we want to talk about our friends at Leading Edge. Guys, that's a big number, John. $30,000 raised for a program in a single hour. That's what Presentation did with Leading Edge.
Also, let's add to it that Presentation also plays on Thursday night as Mountain Marty. I don't think I had that listed.
The Catholic
so let's
Cup.
not. But $30,000 is absolutely ridiculous. You're talking about getting a brand new CRV or some kind of car. Absolutely insane in an hour.
So, if y'all want to do a little bit of fundraising for your program, want to put it on the books for next year, or if you want to look at maybe some of your spring teams getting some money raised, go talk to our friends at Leading Edge and tell them we sent you, so they know that NAIF ball is where it's at. And they sponsor our top 25 poll, which we're about to unveil.
Let's do it.
Going to see it all at once, so
let's just give our hot takes once we see it.
Absolutely. And there it is. So right away, picking Segu, seeing Ottawa at 15, that feels a little high. I like seeing Rocky at 20. That's interesting. I'm interested to see what Central Methodist does at 19. They lost a lot of talent. And I like seeing Georgetown there at 16 with Chris Oliver there taking over from a Hall of Fame coach. I think the Tigers are going to be able to do some good things this year.
What about the GPAC making up 66% of the top 3? The Mid-States Mid-East making 30% of the top 10. And then,
seems about right, doesn't it, though?
It does. Now, the most surprising thing to me is since the Mid-South breakup, usually we have a ton of teams in the top 25 from them. Now, the only original out of the 3 divisions that were together, the Sun, the Bluegrass, and the Appalachian. I believe there's only 4 teams listed up there from the original, or from what was the Mid-South a couple years ago, not the original, sorry.
Mhm.
You know, you got Lindsey Wilson, Kaiser, Reinhardt, all within the top 10, and then the next team after that, oh, you got Georgetown,
Yeah,
sorry.
you got Georgetown
got
there.
Georgetown right there. Who else am I missing? Is it just those 4?
It's just
Those
those
4.
4. And I think that speaks to the larger state of football in the Mid-South. I mean, with Reinhardt, it's Reinhardt and then who else? In the
Right.
Sun, look, you know, Thomas is receiving votes, or St. Thomas is receiving votes. Thomas starts next year, but St. Thomas is receiving votes. Let me see who our top RVs are.
I think it's also really important to mention it is so important to start within the top 10 if you want to make a playoffs. I mean, it's just poll inertia.
Yeah.
You lose 1 or 2 games, some reason you end up sticking around.
So
it's kind of not fair, but you know,
it
it
happens.
is what it is.
So the top RVs receiving votes are St. Francis of Illinois is 1 point behind Bethel of Kansas. Faulkner is receiving votes. Cumberland's is receiving votes. Bethel of Tennessee is receiving votes. Bluefield is receiving votes. St. Thomas is receiving votes. That is, so there's your old Mid-South teams.
Right.
Are all in that section right there. If they can get off to hot starts and some of these guys fall out as they're going to do, I can see 3 potential candidates to fall back even in week 0.
Right. And I think it's really important too. You look at the Frontier teams, what great representation they haven't had in a while. With Montana Western right there, Rocky, you said, and then Carroll.
Yeah, a lot of folks are high on Rocky with Nathan Dick coming back at quarterback.
And let's clarify. This is not the coaches poll. This is the alternative that some people kind of wanted, you know, just to see a difference of opinion. And this isn't just me and Corey. This is different media entities and different geographical locations voting it. It's literally not 2 guys just randomly coming up with a poll.
And
I think we got about 6, 7 guys total, right?
And I do have the numbers wrong on there. It was 7 total votes this week. It's 6 first place for Morningside, 1 first place vote for Grandview, had 1 who just wasn't able to get it in. So we actually have a possible grand total of 8 voters this year.
8 voters, and they all have different regions. We have 1 guy from the Frontier. We have 1 or 2 guys from the Mid-States. We got 1 that has a radio show and a regional radio show in the Sooner Athletic Conference, basically. You know, we got great representation. So don't think it's just me and Corey running this. You know, very interesting.
So that we will be back after a word from our friends at Mommy Bay Turf Nation.
Can you message me that top 25 real quick?
I do apologize because that totally did not come through on y'all's end like I thought it would. But
replay it.
Well, if you want me
let's do it.
Let me figure out why
Guys,
I didn't do.
We got to give love for the company that supports us, makes it happen for us to go to games, to go to the national championship, to give you guys the coverage you want. So we're going to give it time. A little bit about Mommy Bay Turf. I know they were good with our guys at St. Thomas down there in Miami. You know, if your program's thinking about leaving grass and going to turf, these guys are the ones to go with. You know, every team we've talked to within the NAIA that's chosen to go with them, and I mentioned St. Thomas specifically, they went right out the gate, Corey, with Mommy Bay. And, you know, before they even had their first game, those kids were practicing on that turf.
And that's where their flag football played this season. It was a good surface. Let's try this again. Let's see if I can if I clicked the right button.
Maumee Bay Turf Center, a leader in synthetic sports surfaces as well as natural field construction, maintenance, and renovation. Maumee Bay Turf is part of Turf Nation, the most trusted source in the synthetic turf industry, including creating the surface for the biggest game in pro football. From professional, college, and high school sports to recreation and commercial projects. Check them out at MaumeeBayTurfCenter.com and see our large collection of finished projects and services. Maumee Bay Turf Center. We build better.
You know, just a couple of first week wrinkles to get out. That is a field there that they just finished over at in Ottawa. Not sure which Ottawa, maybe Kansas, who knows? But just a really well done job there. Love working with them. They're great folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are thankful for their sponsorship. They typically sponsor the Player of the Week segment for us, but you know, it being week 0, it's very hard to have a Player of the Week.
Let me add, turf is an awesome investment for NAIA program because not only is it fielding your football team, your flag football team, your soccer, field hockey, whatever you want. You know, it helps house all those sports. It adds on. Your maintenance crew guys will be thankful. It's a great investment.
Absolutely. So now we get funky. We've named our conference picks, and now is the point in time where we could totally make ourselves look extremely silly really quickly if we don't get this at least marginally correctly. First off, I guess if we're going to name playoffs, do you think that all of your teams are going to make the playoffs from the auto bid?
I think, yes, they'll all be within the top 20.
All right. I think that the first one for me that I would want to put in an at-large is going to be Northwestern.
I think that's a guaranteed Northwestern, absolutely.
You want to do? You want to pick one now?
Number 2 for me would be Indiana Wesleyan.
I like that pick, and I'm gonna mirror that. I think Indiana Wesleyan is the number 2 team in the Mideast this year, and I think they'll make it for sure. Number 3,
Lindsey Wilson for me.
Lindsey for you. Okay. You think they're gonna? Okay, so yeah, because you're picking Bethel.
Right.
There. Give me all of that here. And then I'm going to round out with Georgetown. They've been really close the last couple of years in getting there. I think a new offensive system and a new coaching staff gets them over the hump.
You know, I want to put my foot in my mouth because I think I told the show earlier that I didn't think the Sun would get multiple bids, but
You're going with St. Thomas, aren't you?
I think I'm going to go with St. Thomas. Now that I thought about it a little bit, a little revelation there.
That's a good pick. Now,
and I would say I would put Bethel, Kansas, right outside. Wouldn't be surprised to see them in.
This is going to be a little bit different from what we normally would see here, because of the fact that, one, you're not seeing 3 mid-states, mid-east teams. There's no Concordia in this. So we're saying here that Concordia misses the playoffs. Both of us are saying it. So Cardinal fans, just add us and unleash all of your bird anger. It's all right. We can handle it. And the other thing that's interesting there, you're taking St. Thomas, I'm taking Georgetown. As the last one in, there's no St. Xavier in this one for either of us. Just going down through and looking at it. The KCAC has gotten two picks in the last few years. That's not going to be, so we're saying that's not going to be so for either of us. It's just going to be the one berth. I think that the.
And let me add this, Corey, just to get this off the record. if we're picking week by week, I'm 80+% picking correctly.
This is a crapshoot.
But picking the playoffs, do not hold my feet to the fire.
This is a crapshoot.
We're trying to give you guys some content and have fun. One of the best things about the season is when we get the bubble watch.
Oh, yeah.
For the at-larges. Absolutely. Don't take it personal if you don't see your team up here. We're excited for week 0, week 1, and we really will get a grasp on what's going. NAI is one of the hardest leagues to know for sure what's coming back. I know we went through an off-season of podcasts previewing these conferences. We've talked to coaches. But even then, it's hard to get a grasp for a preview season long. But I will say, I am confident with my picks.
I think the lesson here is that the parity across the NAIA has increased dramatically.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody wants to win now.
Yeah.
This isn't just a business decision by some people of, having a football team to keep the university afloat. They see that it's even more profitable to put a great product on the field.
Yeah, and so I definitely think, you're definitely seeing the parity here, and that is absolutely that is the upshot here.
Yeah.
But now is the one where I think where we can definitely you can hold our feet to the fire on this one.
Let's do it.
That's the national champion pick. I actually didn't ask you about this, so if you pick something other than what I think you're going to pick, I'm not going to have a graphic for it. But you do you, and I will handle it. I have seen Morningside so many times come back the next year and be just as good.
Okay, Corey, I know you pre-put my graphic. Don't put it up there because I'm going the opposite.
You're going to screw me up, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm going with the team that has not lost a regular season game in the past 3 years, has made it to the semifinals 2 years ago. You watched them in Durham live. I wish I could have. And, what they've built over there in the short amount of time, Corey, we were suspect on their offense. And I know they lose a little bit of offense, but that defense for them is just absolutely just, it's beautiful to watch their front seven. It's beautiful to watch just the physical brand of football that they provide. I think they're going to run through their side of the conference in the North Division, Corey. There's just not much competition there. I think they're going to be prime and ready when the playoffs come. I don't see them losing a regular season game. I don't think you got to worry about that. Corey, I think I'm going to go with the Grandview Vikings. They're going to get back there, and it might say
The
national
rematch.
championship pick. I think we're going to see a rematch if the NAI gives it to us because they're so close. They're in the same state. Please don't put these two together. Let them, if they earn their way there, have a rematch. And don't give Northwestern Morningside in the playoffs. I would love to see Northwestern and Grandview in the playoffs.
That'd be cool too.
Before you give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? Just give us an opportunity of better playoffs.
Thank you for riffing for that long to let me find
that's
the
okay.
logo. That was perfect timing. Just as a peek behind the curtain, as I was furiously finding that information. So we'll see. I love it when we disagree. That is perfect. Let's take a look at some of the comments before we go on the what to watch for. We've had a fairly active comments here. Casey Willison saying Mayville State sneaky team in the North Star. Offense is going to be scary. Got to get the defense there.
I don't think they have the coaching staff continuity just yet to gel. I think they have to replace a lot of assistants.
Yeah.
At least a few.
But I think Mayville State is on the come up.
Right.
Stephen Bugkiller once
Beautiful helmets, though.
Yeah, oh, yeah. The new helmets, too.
Yes.
Speaking of beautiful helmets, did you see Lindsey Wilson's new helmets?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my
Very
gosh,
nice.
those are straight fire. Stephen Bugkiller says that my pick of Segu was a bad pick. Texas Wesleyan is the train to be on. The ping pong champions of the NAIA. I put Texas Wesleyan in my top 25. I'm watching them
Texas Wesleyan
suspiciously.
fans will let us know. They've been letting us know for the past couple of years.
Absolutely.
They came out fire last year, and then they slowed down.
and I think it's a relatively new squad.
Right.
So I think we're actually gonna see them have a really good year. I think they're gonna be number 2 to Ottawa. Inkblot says didn't realize how few voters there are. Guess who was our new voter? It was Inkblot here with our CFB.
Love it, man. You're exclusive, brother.
Absolutely. Roger says replay, awesome playoff predictions. That a new preseason show element. You're dang skippy. It's a new one.
Roger's our number 1 fan. We love you, man.
And Inkblot says
send me a message on Discord later.
The KCAC won't have a chance to prove itself in the regular season, but I don't know if that's necessary to get an at-large. I think it's going to be for the KCAC.
Well, for a while there, in which, if you guys don't know, the KCAC is adding Evangel, which gives them the 12 teams, 2 divisions, so that gives them the conference automatically 2 automatic qualifiers if they finish within the top 20.
That's gonna nuke one of the.
When we first started, the KCAC had a hard time getting multiple bids in.
Yeah, and now now it's regular.
Yeah, it's regular, but still a hard time.
And now you're gonna be really, if you're the KCAC, you're gonna be pressing for 3 now.
Yeah.
And now, let's say the Sooner does that as well.
Right.
Because they're gunning for it. They're in the process of adding 2 teams, losing 1. They're on the road to 12. That would make 14 auto bids.
I think we're going to have a big realignment talk for the playoffs. I
think the NAIA, with how they're going right now and how the teams are functioning,
right.
I think you seriously need to look at how the playoffs function as well and see if it might be time to maybe add a couple of spots, maybe like a play-in game or something.
Well, let's get to what we got for week 0. I'll let you pick up the slide, and I'll just get talking. We start off Thursday night. Reinhardt travels over to Faulkner. I think it's a 3-hour drive.
Literally starting off, this is the first game of the college football season.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on Thursday night.
What a weird time to do it. They should push it back a little bit. I would love to get to that game if I didn't have a day job and coach high school football myself. Faulkner's my alma mater, Corey. I'm not going to pick this game just because it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, it is. It is for you, isn't it?
I already did the playoff pick, so you should tell who I would pick. But I'm not going to say it on record. I got some friends in Montgomery still, so I don't want anybody pissed off at me when I go up there.
No, you'll just make them mad when you come out with our Patreon only picks list.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to take Reinhardt in this game. It'll be very interesting to see what Faulkner has coming back. They've got a little bit they've got to work on.
I will say I got some insider information there. The Faulkner quarterback this year is very athletic.
Ooh.
And I heard, I shouldn't say it. That wouldn't be fair to Faulkner because I know coaching staffs do listen to this show. But, I'm excited to see Faulkner early in that game.
Grandview travels to Central Methodist. I've got the Vikings here. Central Methodist lost an absolute metric
They lost NFL talent on their defensive side.
And they lost their just blue-collar quarterback, Paxton DeLauren, as well. I mean, he was their offense last year.
I got Grandview treading to an easy victory.
Baker versus Culver Stockton.
Man, I picked Baker to win the South. I love Culver Stockton and what they can do on offense. But I got Baker squeezing it out, and their defense comes through.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Wildcats here. I like what Culver Stockton's doing. If I'm Baker, I'm going to pick on the right tackle.
Yeah, who replaces
Andrew Rupchich. He might be pretty good, but you're not It's real hard to replace 6'7".
Yeah. That's on the Titans roster right now.
Right, exactly.
To round it up, we got Montana Western, the Bulldogs, traveling over to Helena, Montana. I hope I pronounced that right, to the Carroll Saints.
This is the game that I was saying earlier. Makes or breaks Montana Western's early part.
I'm going with Montana Western in a blowout.
Ooh.
I'm going on record.
I like Carroll's defense a lot and what they're bringing back, but I think Montana Western is going to step up to the plate and really have a nice season. This year, I see them beating Carroll and getting their season off to a good start here. But before we go, we get to my favorite part of all this, and it's the guys who make this happen. If I can borrow a phrase, the team behind the team. These are our boosters right here, our patrons. And we are so thankful to those who support us year in, year out. If you were a patron, I tried to message all of y'all today. There
Well-
were about a dozen who had their card expire, so
Well,
check your
Let me
email.
tell you what. We'll talk to anybody.
Thanks, Skippy.
We'll spread the. We're in a church doing this, but we'll spread the gospel of NAIA football. I feel bad saying that. We'll talk to any
Sacrilege.
one of you guys, but for those that really support us, and I'm not saying it has to be monetarily because there's other ways. If you subscribe to us,
Yeah.
that's humongous support. If you follow us, there's one patron I'm talking to right now during the show,
Yeah.
throughout the show. We just love talking ball, whether you think we're right, whether you think we're wrong. And we love NAIA football. We love what it stands for. We love what the kids have to go through day in and day out. And, it's a different brand of football. We think of Division I guys, they're hard workers as well, but this is the blue-collar man's football.
And if you are a recent graduate, consider paying it forward a little bit.
Guys, we're just asking for literally 3 cents a day,
$1 a month.
3 pennies a day.
It's absurd how little we ask.
Yeah, that $1 a day helps us get to the national championship game, helps us get to other games. Maybe eat a hot dog at the game.
Right.
Without, I'm a teacher salary over here, so I don't get paid well. Corey over
I'm a
here,
writer.
he's like a mega millionaire.
Oh, heck no.
Yeah, he's in tech support. So, we're hardworking guys too, but we love NAIA football, but your support helps us go a little further.
Absolutely. So thank you so much to DSU Cone, the OG, Danielle Quinn, Darren, Bob Boone, Roger Meyer, the GOAT, Jeremy Vobble, Shirley Labella, Fred Christensen, Alex Garcia, Jerry Quickle, Jody Hoagland, Austin Steele, Cordell Acewell, and Marty Seabolt, Justin Cobb, Dane, Nick Ryan, Hayden Ferrigno, Jeff, Kyle Gregory, Tyler Pierce, Justin Hoffman, Steve Speakman, Coach D67, Brian Shake, Lance DeMond, and Monty Mustang for their support. We can't understate that. If you're not subscribed right now, do please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. It helps us more than you know. If you are we try not to have any of the current players.
Yeah,
as patrons.
We don't want to take any current players' money.
Right.
We understand what that's like. I graduated from NAIA school, so I understand the bills that are being paid.
Yeah.
Tuition needs to be paid, and we don't want anybody that's in a bad situation in life giving us their dollar. You might need it, but there are a lot of success stories in NAIA
Absolutely.
football. And if you want to give back, feel free to give them back. We're just here to support the kids, man.
So, man, catch me on Thursday. I'll be doing a Twitter space with RCFB, College Football Reddit, at about 4:30 Eastern Time ahead of the Reinhardt and Faulkner game. And,
hey, so before we leave, Miss Meyer, please get on your phone on your YouTube account and subscribe to the NAIA football YouTube channel.
Exactly. So, guys, we are so thankful for your continued support. It means more than you know. We are so thankful that we get to do this and have fun doing this and talking ball, and helping the kids who do this and do it well get the recognition that they deserve. We will see y'all then on Thursday.